This is an exam question about cell signalling and white blood cells. It says when an infection occurs, some T lymphocytes produce cell signalling molecules called cytokines. So cytokines are a group of chemicals that we call interleukins. These cytokines stimulate specific groups of B lymphocytes to divide. Describe how cytokine molecules can stimulate specific groups of B lymphocytes to divide. So we've got to make the link between these interleukins, the cytokines being released, and the B lymphocytes dividing. So first of all, cytokine, we can call them interleukins. Have a specific receptor. And therefore the cytokine and the receptor has a specific shape. Therefore the cytokine, once it's been released, binds or fits onto the receptor. Now these receptors are on the cell surface membrane of the B lymphocyte, so you could say the receptor are on the cell surface membrane, and that's of the B lymphocyte. If the cytokine has a specific shape, the receptor has a specific shape, we say that these are complementary. So we can say this here, that it's complementary shape. And when the cytokine binds to these receptors on the cell surface membrane of the B lymphocytes, it's that activates or stimulates clonal expansion. And that's what we mean by the lymphocytes starting to divide. We can say mitosis. You could include that it activates when the cytokines bind to the receptor, it will trigger a secondary messenger, inside the cell, and it's that second messenger inside the cell that then will activate clonal expansion. You need to make sure that you're saying that the cytokine and the receptor are complementary, not the same shape. Make sure if you say mitosis, you say mitosis and not meiosis. And make sure with the receptor that you're not saying antibodies. They're not binding to the antibodies. They're binding to the receptors. Okay, so just double check. It says describe how cytokine molecules can stimulate specific groups of B lymphocytes to divide. So we said the cytokine, the interleukins have a specific receptor. For that, the cytokine receptor has a specific shape. Those cytokine and receptor are complementary in shape. The receptors are found on the cell surface membrane. the cytokines bind and fit onto the receptor because of the complementary shape. That activates a secondary messenger inside the cell, and that activates and stimulates clonal expansion or mitosis.